Hello, I'm your ex-Toycat, and just like your ex-girlfriend, Minecraft got a lot prettier last summer thanks to the Vibrant Visuals upgrade, and we've been wondering what they would do this summer, and it seems as though the good news is bringing Vibrant Visuals to the Java edition. They've just announced what their next step is, and this is a major move, I've got to say, a really positive move that I think even makes the Java version of Vibrant Visuals seem like it might be the better one overall. But let's talk about what's actually changing, as well as for Bedrock, today, because this news video is going to come to you in 4 separate parts, by the way. And first, I need to clarify that yesterday we covered Snapshot 8, and today Snapshot 9 came out, which is a fun quirk of the new system, because there are no B snapshots anymore, so this is basically a bug-fixing snapshot disguised as a real snapshot. And also, we didn't cover snapshots at all, we covered 26.10.24, because there is no parity in version names. Anyway, why did Mojang do this? It's a good question, but the bigger question is, why did Mojang do this? Seriously, it looks like digital camouflage in one of the Modern Warfare games now, and the only thing I can think of is that this is actually secretly a QR code, and so someone needs to scan this with a QR code reader, because maybe that's how we'll find out about the next summer drop. Bit of a throwback to the April Fools, huh? Anyway, 4 major things to go into today, so let's start by reading through the next step forward for the Vibrant Visuals on Java Edition. This is a big article split into multiple pieces, but the biggest announcement as to what they are changing is that the technology they use to render Minecraft on your screen, currently called OpenGL, is going to change. This is currently a graphics API that was created in the 1990s and which has lots of issues, one of the big ones being that OpenGL stopped receiving updates 9 years ago and is being deprecated on macOS, which means in the future it won't run on all macOS devices, a problem they already know they need to solve. And so with Vibrant Visuals already being around the corner, they've decided to switch to Vulkan. Vulkan is a graphics API that has a 10-year history in the market, so instead of being 1990s, it's 2010s, and it has adoption across all major hardware vendors. They say it's one of the only APIs that could support their needs for the future. This is great news, and there is a whole category of what this means for modders, but what does this mean for players? Well, any mods that you play may be impacted by this change, and they ask that you have patience with these favorite mods, big reason why, but it also means that they're going to start seeing Vulkan roll out side by side with OpenGL in snapshots while they work to minimize any issues arising from this implementation. In other words, just like how Bedrock went from having the previous graphics engine to the Render Dragon, I think that's a silly name, but that is what they went with, the Render Dragon slowly rolled out, and that enabled Vibrant Visuals. There is going to be a Vulkan rollout. It's definitely Vulkan, but I'm going to say Vulkan now anyway. There's going to be a Vulkan rollout, and that is going to massively improve graphics performance, and indeed the things they can do with it, so that they can bring the prettiness of Vibrant Visuals to the Java edition. This is important because, need I remind you about the differences in the current performance? Oh, here's something fun. As I was about to load up Minecraft for this test, I got actually prompted to verify my age to access full Xbox social features. I've got to give my ID to Yachty, or my social feature access is now going to be limited. Here is the Java edition, fully stock as you get it, 1.21.11. Still no 26 update yet. And if we load up a brand new world, oh, here's something fun. I don't have a Minecraft world yet, so when I go to single player, it takes me straight to create new world. That's a nice UI feature. But if we load up a brand new world with no additional features, no additional mods, I know a lot of people love to talk about those, and we've got a whole section of this video talking about it. The base game that most people are playing, your default render distance on my PC is no way it's this low. Okay, it's going up, it's going up. Okay, this is as far as it goes. I cannot see my spawn from this Cherry Grove biome over here. It's kind of small. This is the default render, and it's smaller than an Xbox One, but even if we go up to the maximum render distance that my PC can go to here, you can see that it's 32 chunks. That was very weird the way it loaded in, but it's 32 chunks of render distance, which is only 480 blocks. Now, this is actually, me playing on a laptop in 2010 would have been mind blown by 32 chunks, but I'm not playing a laptop in 2010, I'm playing modern Minecraft on a modern machine, and if you play the other modern version of Minecraft, here you can see me getting those same 32 chunks of render distance. There is a little bit of fog at the edge, but technically speaking, this is a better 32 chunks because it's a square and not a diamond radius. There's a whole thing about that. But interestingly, you can see 32 chunks on this seed sorry, you know, this is not Seed Sunday, but I do need to give you an update to Seed Sunday. I got community noted for a tweet that I made talking about the same thing as the video, and the tweet claimed that actually these seeds do work, but they did not. And so, fun fact, that tweet got uncommunity noted because it was incorrect. It's having a little fun for you. Although I do have another fun update, which is that the first seed will work if you put a minus at it. Mojang just put the wrong seed in their video. This is just another little aside right now because we're having fun. But speaking of having fun, this seed right here has 32 chunks of render distance until we go into our video settings. Then we can raise it all the way to 96. And although there is a warning flag that says you might get instability, the truth is Minecraft does run fine. I don't know if this is being reflected in the recording, but I'm still getting more than 60 FPS. The game is fully functional, despite me having not 480 blocks of render distance, not 1,480 blocks of render distance, but instead much closer. Actually, you know, I think 1,480 is almost exactly right. But the interesting thing here is that we are able to get that right here in modern Minecraft. Isn't that crazy? Well, it's made possible thanks to a few things. One is that the visual renderer really cuts a lot of detail off. So you can see that, like, we can't see the grass until we get a certain distance from it. The same is true for leaves. They look super rough until you get close. The same is true for water and all sorts of other things. And also, it's the fact that we're not using vibrant visuals right now. If we were to set our game to vibrant visuals, you'll notice that this is something that has a maximum render distance of not 96 chunks, not 32 chunks, but instead, well, crash the game chunks, apparently. There we go. 28 chunks is the current max, and that has been raised since it first came out. In other words, vibrant visuals is so intensive, it takes away about 70% of your overall render distance, and that's because the rendering is much more intensive. So the reason that Java can render less is not, like some innate quality that is unchangeable, but instead, because, this is the same piece of hardware, some of it can be put down to Java as a language, but a much larger part can be put onto the rendering engine, and so that is what Mojang are looking to change. They'd rather see performance like this. I mean, actually, this isn't great, but they'd rather see a game that can render all of this for the same performance so that you can have either higher render distances or, much more realistically, better looking graphics, so you can have high quality shadows and you can have all of these beautiful lighting effects on the like dynamic lighting on the Java edition of the game. That is what they are looking to do, but it's going to have a huge effect on modders, which we can talk about in part 2. Mojang are very clear, even in this initial release right here, that there is going to be a knock-on effect on anyone who makes mods. Indeed, they have a whole section of their article saying, what does this mean for modders? And they say that switching from OpenGL to Vulkan will have an impact on the mods that currently use OpenGL for rendering, and we anticipate that updating from OpenGL to Vulkan will take modders more effort than the updates you undertake for each of our releases. In other words, this is going to be a huge change for anyone modding the game, and this is a kind of disaster on the surface, right? Oh no, we are going to have a problem where every single Minecraft mod suddenly stops working, but it is worth mentioning this already happens with every Minecraft update, and with drops this becomes more of a disaster. And second of all, it's worth mentioning that actually lots of Minecraft mods are frozen in the past already, at least on the Java edition, and so in theory, any modder who wants to get their stuff ready for the next update is going to be very well prepared thanks to the long process of snapshots that they seem to want to go through before actually pushing this one through. And so is this bad news for modders? Well, the modders that I've been speaking to and hearing from certainly do believe that this is going to be bad, but many seem to be optimistic about what Mojang are calling a translation layer. This is something that is supported by macOS devices and which in theory should allow for Vulkan to have performance gains and increased capabilities, something they are going to need for vibrant visuals, but crucially, something which I think is going to be much better for Java than Bedrock. This is one of my controversial opinions here, but hopefully one that you can hear out out. I think that the way Vibrant Visuals works on Bedrock has led to a lot of its problems because you have to have Vibrant Visuals enabled if you're on a device with it without going to the settings and then going to video and then going all the way down where you can find this little toggle, allow in-game graphics mode switching. This is really usable to just turn on. If you're a hardcore power user, you know you can just turn that on. No user is ever going to want to turn this off, but the fact that you need to hit it and that it turns off if you reinstall Minecraft, and for the Xbox version it just turns itself off randomly in my experience, the fact that there is a toggle means that many people don't know how to downgrade, and so you can't downgrade in your game without going back out to your menu. Really, really clunky behavior. Also, there's no real middle ground setting. We have to go straight from fancy to Vibrant Visuals, which is not my understanding of how this will work on Java at all. Because Minecraft Java has awesome game design right there. Look at this menu. There's like 5 buttons and none of them are covered in a blue yet. But if we look at this, you can see like options and then video settings. Right in here is the difference in how Java players are treated versus Bedrock. This is kind of the modding or performance or enthusiast version of the game. And so instead of just saying like, do you want simple or fancy? Instead, you change every individual setting. And this is the fundamental way that it has to work on Java. You can pick your cloud distance, you can pick your map levels, you can pick your, or whether you want leaves to be see-through or not, you can pick your full own way that Minecraft performs. And so this means that when we get a fancy update to the Java version, a Vibrant Visuals update, instead of just saying it's on or it's off, you'll be able to select the things that you actually want. In a world where Vibrant Visuals does have some settings that are problem-filled, light appears in caves and I could go on forever, this is a wonderful change. And so Vibrant Visuals is going to cause some issues for modders. The brand new graphics capability are going to cause some issues. But you might therefore be saying like, wait, so Java gets this better version of Vibrant Visuals. What's happening for Bedrock during this time period? And well, the answer is probably other things that we don't know about yet. One of the big ones is a Vibrant Visuals refresh would presumably come not just to Java with all of the existing Bedrock features, but likely it would include the new Bedrock features they've been working on. Before we move into part 3 of this video, I'd like to give a quick reminder to anyone who hasn't heard, I am going to be playing Void Flat again on Friday. It's a stream. You can click the link in the description, or you can just keep your eyes out for it. I want to start another silly challenge that, or I say silly, but I think hardcore challenge is a good way to put it, although not in hardcore. I had a crazy time doing this the first time round, but I have a big plan that I want to play me some crazy challenge Minecraft, and I've got an idea as to how I'm going to do it. So join me on Friday when we start a new, ooh, look at that slime block right there, providing what I think is my biggest new feature, the biggest help that I ignored the first time round. But let's go into a brand new world. Okay, I've shown this off a lot of times on the channel before, so I'm going to make sure I keep this to a minute or less, but here is the deal. Minecraft is working on a Vibrant Visuals update, which would bring colored lighting to the game. This is very, very intensive right now, and as you can see, this is how lighting currently looks. It's kind of fine, I guess. You don't really notice any differences, but turn on some colored lights, and what you'll notice is that all of a sudden things look much more blue. Yeah, look at that. That's incredible. This is a brand new change that Minecraft is making to have colored lighting be possible. And what is weird about this is I have ran the tests and it's surprisingly intensive. I do not understand the hardware implications of why, just like how I can't tell you too much about why Vulkan is that much better than OpenGL, besides age. Although, I think that it's worth mentioning that over here we can see, I'm not going to make the age joke that Minecraft YouTubers are probably forbidden from making, and instead I'm just going to say that we have colorful lighting that is currently sitting in experimental and hasn't really been touched much because of the same performance concerns. And so if they're improving performance on Java, this becomes a possibility over there, and if it's already existing over here behind the experimental toggle, and if the Bedrock developers are looking to do something anyway while they wait for Java to implement a whole new rendering engine, then maybe this could be their big announcement for the summer drop. Boom. Anyway, now that comes to the fourth part of the video. What is going to be in the summer drop? And as an exact seer, let me give you the full list here. Oh, my face looks so weird. It's because of that block dithering, which interestingly doesn't exist on Java at all, right? You don't get to see through a drowned. You don't get to see what's inside a creeper. How are you going to know what's inside of his heart? Oh, nothing. Anyway, for the last part of this video, I'd like to ask the big question I'm sure we're all asking: what is in the summer drop? The spring drop is finished, and it's got a really great change with the stonecutter, and I like that furnace book, but ultimately it's all about the babies, and now a lot of development effort is shifting over to the summer drop, but what's going to be inside of it? Well, you can kind of just put your own hopes and dreams on this if you want, or you could use a little bit of fun evidence that came out yesterday. You see, King B Dogs, who is famous for working on the Aether, that's how he got hired at Mojang, or one of the big reasons I can assume, but also who, of course, worked on the Warden and the Ancient City, tweeted out yesterday saying, what is a color palette you really wish Minecraft blocks explored more of? Or rather, what is the missing palette that is sorely underexplored? Now, to be clear here, most likely he's just doing a bit of research for something in the future, or he's just kind of curious, or maybe something brand new is being worked on, mob structure, whatever you want to call it, and maybe that new structure is going to have blocks anyway. Maybe they're just working out what those blocks should be via one of the most democratic means out there, just asking people directly. And over 400 people have responses according to this, which I think is really, really crazy. And yeah, I thought one of the more interesting ones was this one from Moxpop, who says, dying to mess with lime/green slabs, stairs, fences, and here is the classic missing colors that Minecraft has. I think that we really don't need the blues. I think they're pretty well covered between blue and purple, but do we need a green wood? Obviously. Do we need new green stairs and slabs? Well, I mean, if you want all of the colors, we certainly do. And so that is what I would say is maybe a little bit of a hint, or maybe is entirely nothing, but it's what keeps me going as to what the actual answer to that question is, and the actual answer to all of the questions around color lighting, and when vibrant visuals will be coming, and how big of an upgrade the Vulkan engine will be for, the Vulkan API will be for Java. I think the big answer is obviously, we'll find out at Minecraft Live. And when is Minecraft Live? Well, we'll find out soon. Annoyingly, it's soon and soon for both those questions. I would suspect quite heavily that the answer to when Minecraft Live is the 21st of March. That is what I'm just going to be making my planning around at this point. And so I'll see you on the 21st of March when we can react to the Summer Drop Live. And if you like watching live streams anyway, maybe you should come watch me play on a Bedrock void world. It is a ridiculously impossible world challenge to survive, but I think I'd like to do it anyway. Anyway, with that said, thank you for watching, and I'm gonna go eat some food so I can stay alive, and I'll see you tomorrow for one of my biggest videos that I recorded for when I was gone. It's a big project. I'm looking forward to sharing it with you all, but if you like Round Review, you're gonna be pleased is what I'll say. Anyway, thank you, and goodbye.